Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on Perspectives. Today, we are honoring some of our many sports heroes. Many of them are soon to be immortalized in Mobile's Hall of Fame Courtyard. Mobile and Southwest Alabama is known for sending many talented athletes to the professional ranks. And it's nothing new. Since the early 1900s, they've left the Gulf Coast, headed for the packed stadiums and coliseums in big league cities all around the country. Now, when you visit the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, if you didn't already know, you would learn that more Baseball Hall of Famers were born in Mobile than any other U.S. city other than New York and Los Angeles. More than Chicago, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Birmingham. In fact, some sports writers call the Port City the birthplace of Hall of Famers. Baseball Hall of Famers Satchel Paige, Hank Aaron, Billy Williams, Willie McCovey, and Ozzie Smith, all born in the Port City and connected to the Fields of Dreams in Mobile. Now, we can't leave out, though, two New York Mets Hall of Famers, outfielders Cleon Jones and Tommy Agee. They played baseball and football together at Mobile County Training High School. And speaking of football, when you stop in Canton, Ohio at the National Football League Hall of Fame, make sure that you stop and pay respects to Dr. Doom, Mobile County's Robert Brazil. Our guest today to talk about honoring our sports heroes and the Hall of Fame Courtyard, Mobile Mayor Sandy Stimpson, New York Mets Hall of Famer Cleon Jones, and the National Football League's Hall of Famer Robert Brazil. After a quick break this morning, we'll talk with our guests, Mayor Sandy Stimpson, Cleon Jones, and Robert Brazil about the Hall of Fame Courtyard and how this new attraction to downtown Mobile will draw visitors and locals alike to the Port City's waterfront. Perspectives continues in just a moment. Welcome back, and today we're talking about something extremely exciting to me. We've got Mayor Stimpson here and, of course, Cleon Jones and Robert Brazil. And this is really, Mayor Stimpson, something that been on my mind in a long time, but I didn't do what Cleon did and come to you and talk about it. But a place where we're at the crossroads of two major U.S. interstates, and we had our baseball location there with Hank Aaron Stadium, and of course the Hank Aaron home there. But I was always wondering, something we need to do more to let these people know who are traveling through here. And you think about the demographics of who goes to the battleship, and I was thinking, oh man, this could be like Cooperstown, and now because of Robert Canton, where a place for people to stop and see some of the incredible athletes that came here and came out of Mobile. And it's, when you go down the list, you know, these 7 guys are incredible, but there are other guys who came through here who are exceptional. They didn't make it to the Hall of Fame yet, but at the same time, you know, it's just an incredible legacy about this area. Now, is this something that you always knew growing up here? I'm not from here originally, so I didn't know until I got here.
You heard the individual names, but I was much older in life when I realized that we had 5 Baseball Hall of Famers, and there was some point the comment that was made, there are more Baseball Hall of Famers per capita in the city, from the city of Mobile, than anywhere in the United States on a per capita basis.
That's right. We can't compare to the population of New York or
so
LA.
You think, oh my gosh, you know. And then once I became the mayor, once Cleon called upon me, I was like, what are we going to do? Because the thought was there needs to be some kind of iconic place where tourists can go. But it needs to be highly visible, because if it's not visible, let's say while you're in your car because so much traffic is from the vehicle, then probably people would miss it. And so that's when we came up with the idea of putting it on Water Street at the foot of Government Street, and let it be an attractant or a magnet to going to the waterfront. Like if you ride by and you see all these 9-foot bronze statues, you're going to think, something is going on over there. I need to go see what that's about. And really, that's how, of course, Cleon planted the seed, but that's how it evolved into what we know today will be the Hall of Fame Courtyard.
So I guess the question is, do we have enough parking in the area?
So there will be enough parking in the area, put it that way.
All right.
You know, there's plenty of parking on a daily basis right across the street. You know,
Right.
Mobilians typically like to park right in front of the store they're getting ready to walk into.
Right. Like the old days, huh?
That's right, and it doesn't quite work that way. But there is sufficient parking between under the convention center and across the street. So we'll be, and there's a little bitty parking lot right there where the Amtrak terminal will eventually be.
Well, we're going to talk more about what we're expecting to see and what's in the process of being developed. But let's get a little bit more in that. Cleon, you were one of the catalysts of this. How long had that been stirring in you that we needed to have a place where we could honor the sports greats?
Well, this goes back years, 40 years. When I first met Frank Bolin and the Bolin brothers.
Yeah. Our street right here by the station, we've got Bowling Brothers.
Okay, so I knew Hank and Billy and everybody. And then when all of these guys became Hall of Famers, we realized that we had something that no city our size would ever have. But we were in competition with places like New York and L.A.
That speaks volumes.
Right, and it does. To say that that guys of this caliber could come from a small place like this, and people oftentimes ask me, why are there so many great ball players from Mobile? Well, I'll tell them what Hank Aaron told me.
What do you say?
It's in the water.
I was going to ask you. Good thing to have a good water system, right?
A good water system.
3 Mile Creek.
Yeah.
Might have been in the fish.
Right. So then we talked about it, and we first formed the Mobile Sports Hall of Fame. Then a bunch of us would always sit around and talk about how can we make this part of who we are, and so that people can understand who they are and what this city has produced. But it was a tough sell, because everybody liked the idea, but there was not many people wanting to move forward with it until I was able to reach out to the mayor through personal friend Monique Rogers, and we sat down and talked about it. Right away he liked the idea, but the mayor likes eye candy. He likes to see where he's going. So he said, well, I like the concept, I like the idea, it's great. I think we can do
next?
it. But I need to see something on paper. Can
Well,
you give
hold
it
that
to
thought
me?
a second. Now, I know you played football in high school. Did you play baseball too?
I did not.
Okay,
No,
were you a baseball fan maybe?
Not really.
Not really?
baseball fan,
Okay.
no.
But you saw the
But
value.
I saw absolutely, it was all about putting Mobile and Mobilians out front, so the world would know.
Now, different sport, but NFL Hall of Fame is nothing to shake a stick at. So, and we know, for those of us who are remembering you playing, we know that you definitely earned it, and we're all waiting for it to happen. Were you motivated by knowing the history of this area? And I'm sure your dad probably told you about Cleon and all the others who he made. Did he play with any of them? Or?
No.
Okay.
I can go back further. As a kid growing up, Eric, I met these guys. I had an uncle named Odell Randall, which also played baseball.
Awesome.
I played baseball.
Okay.
I could not stand that curveball.
Now, did you play in high school too?
Yes, all through Viking and everything.
Okay.
I didn't want that curveball to hit me, so my uncle encouraged me to play football.
Okay.
I saw 100 with Billy. I know Cleo and all these guys growing up, and to be able to be in their company, that gave me the idea I need to be something one day.
Awesome.
So I want to thank Cleon and the mayor. You don't know how this make us feel as an athlete at home. I'm the only football player in Mobile that's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but I feel like y'all are with me. I want to represent Mobile everywhere I went. So thank you, y'all, for doing this for all the athletes here.
Awesome.
Well deserved.
And many great football players have come behind you, and some came before you, and it's quite an honor for you to be there, Robert. And of course, As I always tell the story to people and to you, the first time we met, my uncle was a
crazy.
big fan of yours, and I always knew about Dr. Doom, and I was an AFL fan because I was down in Albany, Georgia, and we only had one TV station. It was an NBC affiliate, and we only got the AFL games, and so I knew Houston and the Oakland Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs. It was all a part of my growing up. So how did we get to the next step after Cleon got with you to the next point? How did we get to that next step?
Of course, eventually it comes around to funding. How do you pay for this? You know,
The money
great
for
ideas.
it.
So where does the money come from? But really, we needed to develop the concept a little more. And so Cleon walked in with some posters. And he had it all on posters, and he showed everything how it could be done. And so then as we realized that where the location was, then we realized that we needed some renderings and we needed some mock-ups of what this would look like. So we reached out and actually did, I think, an RFQ or an RFP, and had some competition for different artists.
Requests for proposals and
request for proposal. Had several artists send in submittals and what their credentials were, and so then we, by looking at what their ideas were, then you really started getting excited when you see the artist rendering of what it could look like.
That's very true.
And so after we did that, then we started getting prices on what would it cost actually to build the statues and then to install it all in the courtyard area. And it's about a $9 million project.
Wow.
I know that's obviously escalated, like many things that take several years to happen. But Mobile is very fortunate to have a funding mechanism called a TIF. It's a tax increment financing tool, but it's, anyway, it comes from downtown appreciation and ad valorem taxes. And so it's a pot of money.
That part. Yeah.
Pot of money we can reach into.
Cleon came asking for a lot.
He did.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about what the possibilities were and what they are now and what we'll be seeing hopefully very soon as we talk to our very special guests, Mayor Stimson, Cleon Jones, and Robert Brazil.
Thank you.
This day on Perspectives, and more of that in just a moment. We'll be right back. We're back, and we're talking to Mayor Sandy Stimson, the Mobile mayor, along with New York Mets Hall of Famer Cleon Jones and National Football League Hall of Famer Robert Brazil. We've got him here, and we're talking about an incredible place that's about to happen on the waterfront. And it's interesting how it seems like it's been in the spirit of a lot of people when they hear the story about Mobile. And we're talking about, we've got Hall of Famers, we've got Mets Hall of Famers, and then we've got many others who achieved stardom in the major leagues as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're going to try and find a way to represent them too, I guess.
You know, I want to go back to something that Cleon said, but it was the Mobile Sports Hall of Fame that I really think it kept things going. It kept some of the enthusiasm, and they had several concepts of how to possibly do something in the RSA Tower.
Right, I remember that.
They just never could quite, you know, pull it together. But the comment I was making about some of the other sports, the heroes, let's say, anyway, so it's his field of dreams. And every position, he's got like 2 deep, is that right?
2 and 3 and some deep.
Wow.
deep.
So
When you look at it, I mean, and I say you have to see it kind of pictorially, like in a poster, or I use a poster, but somehow we will have to figure out how to do that at the where the courtyard is, because there are other names of great athletes that need to be memorialized there.
That's right.
And if you take it a little further than that, this is maybe the first step, but we've got those that are in the Mobile Sports Hall of Fame. So I could see, as funding is available and the interest, depending on how this does, is that we could really spotlight people. It won't be just sport. It won't be just football and baseball. I mean, we've got some basketball players.
We do.
We have some others.
In fact, one just announced he was hanging up the basketball shoes, and he's made a name for Mobile over the years. Well, Cleon, one of the things when we talk about the 5 baseball Hall of Famers, and we've got the football Hall of Famer right here with us. That's awesome too. Yeah. But Billy Williams, he's related to your wife Angela, right?
Right. They're cousins.
I mean, that's amazing.
Well, a lot of things that will come out of this that's amazing. Like Robert said, I've known him all of his life.
Yeah.
Yes,
all right. So then, so when you talk about AG and you talk about the Field of Dreams, when you talk about Jake Peavy and all the guys, like the mayor said, in this Field of Dreams, it'll be 3 deep in some positions. So we're talking about 30 additional players that come from Mobile that were Major League ball players, some All-Stars, but not yet Hall of Famers.
Well, let me ask you, will Robert's statue kind of intimidate the others with him looking like Dr. Doom in that mix of people?
Because nobody have my ball, so I won't be making no tackles.
Yeah. Well, thank God all of the statues would be the same length.
Roberts won't be 10 feet tall. Maybe it should be.
Yeah. So tell us again, I mentioned at the beginning who the 5 baseball Hall of Famers are going to be. Who are they for those who might not know?
We'll go by age.
Okay.
Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige. And our street is named after Satchel. We're right here on Satchel Paige Drive right now.
Oh, Hank Aaron.
Okay, Hank Aaron.
Willie McCovey.
Yes.
Billy Williams. Isaac Smith.
Awesome.
Those are the 5 as of this point.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, how many of them did you play against? Because let me tell you, he used to come to Atlanta. I was a Braves fan, a kid growing up, and they come in there and show out. Cleon and Tommy Agee and the guys. Who did you all play against? Because I'm sure you hit most of those guys you just mentioned, didn't you?
Well, all but Satchel Paige. I'm old, but not that old.
I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking about that because he played a long time.
Well, he played a long time. As a matter of fact, he had a little stint with the Braves while I was in the big league. So I got a chance.
When they were in Milwaukee still?
No, when they was in Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, he was there a couple of years with them. He didn't pitch, but he dressed out and he was in the bullpen, and we was able to go over and talk to him and get information and talk to him about things I'd heard in the neighborhood about what he accomplished. So as a kid, Satchel Paige and Ralph Donahue had this contest where you saw it in the movies, where Satchel told everybody to sit down. He proceeded to strike out everybody. All right, Ralph Donahue, which was a resident of Africatown, told his side of the team to do the same thing. They said, and they pitched a dart. Nobody scored.
Wow.
But that was in the Satchel Paige movie, but it actually happened in Africatown, and I showed the mayor where it happened.
Oh my goodness.
And we want to.
Is that field that's still
Yeah, that
open?
field is still there, but it's not, we're going to make a miniature field in that area. With the blessing of the mayor, he can find the money. I can find the place.
No pressure.
So that's Satchel. So what about Willie? And I was so neat when I was doing the names today. You have Willie, Billy, and Ollie. You know?
You're right. So that play on words there. I got it, but most of us don't get that. But look, and I talked to Billy this morning. About what is happening here, and we look forward to seeing
I'm waiting
whether it's going to be in August or September, whatever. We're ready to receive him. But to me, it says so much about our mayor.
That's true.
All right, what he's doing, and my when I think about all of this. And all of the players, the dynamic players that we have, Kenny Stable always come to mind. And he's just across the pond.
Another football guy there.
Right. And certainly it might be some time we might need to revisit that.
Well, annex.
Right.
We need to be a million people.
We have already annexed because there's more people that work in Mobile that lives in Baldwin County.
And including some of my co-workers too. They're now commuting. Well, Robert, we've got to make sure we give you your credit there with the football. How difficult was it, you think, to make it to the Hall of Fame? Because I know that you waited for a while, and a lot of people were saying, what are they waiting on? But what was that period like for you? Because you had all the credentials.
It's a process, Eric, and I've been in there since 2018, and every year I learn a little more about that process. It takes the sports writers in your hometown that you played in Houston.
Okay.
So what happened to me, the Houston Oilers moved out of Houston to Tennessee.
Nashville, yeah.
And that delayed me.
Oh.
This stopped me, it delayed me. My name kept coming up because once you get voted in as a semifinalist, they bring you back. They say vote on you.
Yeah.
But John McClain, which is the senior writer for the Houston paper in Houston, Texas, kept me in mind. He lobbied for me and got me in. But it's people like Willie that's here from Mobile. Who's going to do that for him in Cincinnati?
Right.
Who's going to get him to that last 46 count? He was there last year close, and he's probably going to be there next year.
Right.
All we got to do, like I told him, a guy told me, he said, Robert, be patient.
Yeah.
He said,
Well,
it's
we
not
need to
going
find
anywhere.
out what else we can do because
Yeah.
we as media and through the city,
It's
we
going
need
to take
to
people
lobby
like you
for our
to
guys.
hit y'all
Yeah.
media friends to get us
Right,
in.
exactly. We have got to do that now with social media. It may be a
do that,
little
yeah.
easier than it was back
It
a few
is,
years
it
ago.
is.
So, well, listen, never enough time, but let's.
Can I interrupt?
Go
one
ahead.
second?
No, you go
So
ahead.
you know there are 7 pedestals.
Right.
Only 6 Hall of Famers.
Okay.
You know what the 7th one is?
I know. You're going to be just like me, a kid. That palace is, we're going to build it for kids to say that one
Future
is
stand
for
up
you.
so they say I'm a
Awesome.
future Hall of Famer.
I like
the
that.
future Hall of Famer.
That is
and I
so
can't wait to see
good.
that live for kids to
Yeah.
walk up there and step
Well, we
up.
got to wrap up. What's our tentative date for opening?
By the end of the year, hopefully, let's say within a year. Certainly within a year.
And you can see the progress going on down
Yeah.
there. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time and sharing today. Mayor Sandy Stimson, Cleon J. Jones,
Yes,
and Robert Brazil.
Junior.
Another J. We thank you all so much for being here today. And of course, we're all looking forward to visiting the court when everything opens, the Hall of Famer court. And I love that 7th pedestal. That's great. Well, thank you for joining us today. And don't forget the Hall of Fame Courtyard. That construction's taking place right now downtown at the Mobile Convention Center, right there on that right side if we're looking from the street. And there's the information to call if you want more information about this through the City of Mobile's Community Affairs Department, and there was that phone number. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Perspectives.